beyond the monoclonal antibodies, Sheilah, what other areas of pain management research do you think are underserved or have been somewhat neglected? Where would you like to see research focused?
I think one of the areas that is talked about an awful lot is the use of cannabinoids. And that is a evolving discussion, I think, for both humans and within the US. It varies between state to state, for humans who has access to it, whether it's legal, illegal, all the issues around cannabinoids. But if you think about it, we developed opioids, hundreds of years ago because there is an endogenous opioid system in our bodies. So now that we know that there's a cannabinoid endogenous system, why is it there? I mean, there has to be a reason why it's there. So I think the research around cannabinoids is very, very important that we focus on it. The problem is there's legal issues. It's very, very difficult to do research because of how those drugs are scheduled. But we have to be very aware that animals and CBD and how it acts in, say, a dog and a cat is very, very different from a human. And we're not talking about the THC, the sort of negative connotations of the cannabinoids. But we have to completely understand and realize that owners are using these products. We can't legally prescribe them. We know very little about them, but the owners can buy them online without any problems. They can, in certain states, just go buy them, and they're using them. So I think we really need to think about some really good research and how we could effectively use cannabinoids. And I would say the data in humans is very, very encouraging for a lot of chronic diseases and affective states, but we really have very little data in dogs, cats, or any other species.
Yeah, and moving beyond that, Mark, what, if you like, this phrase is, what other tools would you like in your toolbox? What areas do you think need to be addressed from a primary practice point of view? The problems that you're trying to manage day in, day out.
The blessing is the toolbox is full. The curse is the toolbox is full. We have a lot of things we can use. The data to support them all is what is really limited. So I have a long list of things that I would like to know more about.
Where would you prioritize our greater understanding?
I think that a simple place to go, some low-hanging fruit, would be some of the drugs and products that are already out there, already easy to get, legal. Not regulated even. So we could speak of the contraprotectants, the nutraceuticals, and it's a gazillion-dollar industry in humans and in veterinary medicine, and yet the data in humans is conflicting at best. And we have the models. We should be able to prove that it works or not. And so those companies, in my view, should get on the stick. The same can be said for some of the non-pharmacologic modalities, whether it's therapeutic laser or pulse electromagnetic field or acupuncture even, and all of these things, since we have the models, they may be imperfect, but we have the models. And these modalities should be explored and put under robust, well-designed studies and big enough to power through that caregiver placebo effect. And we can put a number on that. In dogs, it's 25 up to 50%, and cats 90%. Yes. Right. And so they have to be really well-designed studies and big. And I know that takes money, but that's what will convince me that we should be using those kinds of products, more ubiquitously than we currently do. More low-hanging fruit is that there are a whole bucket of medications that are used in humans for pain. And yet, if we're lucky to have some pharmacokinetic data on them in dogs and cats, that's about all we got. In fact, as far as I know, that there's only one molecule that's been looked at as an adjunct to nonsteroidals for osteoarthritis in dogs, none in cats. That's Dr. Lascelles, your study with amantadine. Other than that, we have nothing. And yet we have all these drugs that are available for humans in that department. And then lastly, I would say that there's a dimension, it gets back to what Sheilah was talking about with quality of life, that in humans, chronic pain, controlling for other factors, controlling for age even, that people with chronic pain had cognitive changes. They have learning problems, memory problems, mental agility issues. And and clinical depression. And these are things that I know may be hard to pick up, but I'd like to throw it back to Margaret, and so I know that's kind of her wheelhouse, because that's a really exciting area for me, and I'd love to be able to deploy medications and interventions that can improve both.